I don't own any asset. Hard money loans are secured by, in a first position on real estate. This, I don't own anything yet. So we created contracts that controlled. So in other words, what happened is when he gave me the $50,000, I gave him the contract. I went and performed under the contract, but he could kill the contract anytime he wanted to. When we came down to before the money went hard, he'd say, do you want to do the deal or can I get my money back? And I said, yeah, we're going to do the deal. He says, okay, go replace my money. And that's how we did it. But I was always had the cash available. So what happened is I created the earnest money deposit program for my owner forum members. Listen guys, you have $50,000 available to you at 12% and 2 points, 12% per annum, and you typically use it for 1 or 2 months. 12 and 2, that you can know that when you make an offer, you'll always have that earnest money there to take care of you. Calvin.
So it's almost like transitional funding that some of these guys, when you do simultaneous closing on single families, pretty much similar.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just controlling of contracts. And because I'm a lawyer and my law firm, we're licensed and we have client funds accounts and IOLTA accounts,
Yeah.
I hold the $50,000. So in that purchase and sale contract, we are the escrow agent. So everybody's happy with it. Seller doesn't, we in the letter of intent, we say that say who the escrow agent is. Seller looks at it and says, okay, that's fine. And then when the purchase and sale contract comes around, Dobens law is the escrow agent. Okay, you agreed to it.
So you're only paying interest for the time, from the time that
30
you
days.
sign off and then finally they
Yep.
close on it.
Yep, 30 to 60 days typically. Yep. And we control the contracts, and I tell you how to word it, and I tell you what to do so that you get the money. All right, so it's like, I always have to say, it's $50,000 of earnest money available to you, strings attached. It's not like you're gonna sign up for my program, I'm gonna give you a check for 50 grand. Because remember, dollar in, 80 cents out. You'll always be in business. But if I'm giving you a check for 50 grand, that's a problem. So I give you the money, you never have to worry about it. I got that taken care of for you. You're now under contract. Now what do? Clock's ticking. What do you say? Exactly. Now you've got to figure out whether you want that property or not. I have this online 8-hour due diligence course. I used to teach it for 2 days in a hotel room, and I wanted to blow my brains out. It was the most boring class, but it's so important. And after a while I said, I don't want to ever do this again. So I ended up doing it online. I did an online version, I recorded it, and it's up there now. And it's available to all my students. You can't even buy this. You have to be in my program to get it. I was selling it for some crazy amount one time. I think I sold it for like one of these Black Friday specials or something. And boy, holy cow, that took off. I might do that again. That was fun. But this is a due diligence program. It teaches look at the 3 phases. What, name that movie? Inglourious Bastards? Yes, exactly. I don't know why I did three, yeah, exactly. The three phases of due diligence. The legal due diligence, the financial due diligence, and the property inspection, the property due diligence, okay? The legal due diligence, if you can't get past that, don't even bother. The physical inspection is the last thing we do. If you can't prove that the property is worth buying in the first 2 weeks sitting at your kitchen table, you're not going to go out and spend the money to go out there and see that property. Don't even bother. And it's all spelled out in the due diligence course. Mike Butler. Charlie, finally getting through financial due diligence. I missed last week. It's excellent. Mike is one of my very first students. Just bought a 65-unit apartment complex. Took him a couple of years to do it. He had his life going on, but he stuck with it. And now he owns one. He's about to buy another one with another student of mine. So this is, when you're in the program, you don't get in and get out. It's a lifestyle. You get to know everybody. All right, next roadblock is finding the money, right? Because now that you made it through the due diligence, now you gotta close on the deal. All right, I teach it in my private money training. Now this is money. This conversation with the private money is not about the SEC rules. I am not an SEC attorney. I do not play one. Jillian Sidoti, she's a good friend of mine, and she's who I recommend for the SEC. She actually is coming out with a new program that's going to tie in right with mine. But this part of the training is how to speak to investors, what to say, how to couch it the right way, what to say, what not to say, how not to get yourself into trouble. But that's what this private money training is. Now, the other thing is when Manish got that 30% equity, one of my students in my class is a mortgage broker for Marcus and Millichap. He calls me up and says, Charlie, we do this all the time for our people. I said, can you do it for my students? He goes, yeah. So what we have is the Equity Assist Program, where if it's over $3 million, Bob Damigella, who's also my accountability coach, will come in there and he will show you, he will help you find the equity using his sources. All right, so if you show up with $1 million property, you're on your own. You show up with a $5 million property and you give Bob the debt, he's going to find you the equity. That's how it works. This whole concept of debt and equity together is amazing. So much money sitting on the sidelines, and the mortgage brokers are so anxious to place deals that they're actually finding the equity for you. Back when I first got started, that was unheard of. Unheard of. All right. The final roadblock is something they never teach you. If you have never done a multifamily deal before, do you honestly think that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will give you a $5 million loan? I mean, come on, guys. Let's be real. So that's the final roadblock to this business. But don't worry about it. I got you covered. Because I introduce you to people. I got about 150 people in my program. Many of them are already multifamily owners and operators. They already are doing deals. And I introduce you to them. You're going to know them all. All of my students know all my other students. That's the way it works. You're going to know who are the KPs. We call them key principals. And as you can see here, this is me. Got a haircut. This is Manish. Manish did a $27 million deal. Do you think Manish qualified on his own? No. There's Bob Bryanton. Bob owns over 6,000 units. He had 0 when he first started with me. I said 5,000. Yes, 5,000 units. He had 0 when he first started with me. Calvin.
So when you joined your group, do you all have to buy plaid shirts?
Don't we look dapper? Don't we look dapper? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Look at, yeah, you bring your date. Your date is wearing a plaid shirt there, Calvin.
Okay, just
Yeah. Yeah, that was a dress code for the day. The restaurant required us to wear plaid shirts. But the thing is, Bob became the key principal for Manish. And so what happens is you meet people in my group and we set up the key principal arrangements so you qualify for your mortgage. And you know what happens after about 3 deals that you do? You become a KP. And now you're being tapped on the shoulder to do a deal. And Bob has got it down to a science. He knows I take 25% of what you own to do the deal. So if you're going to end up owning 25% of the deal, he owns 25 of that 25. That's what he makes. To sign his name on the dotted line so you qualify for a mortgage. Pretty good, huh? See, the whole thing is, my job is to help you get across the finish line. And they're put roadblocks up in your way every step of the way. And so that's what we do, is we protect you. Start working with a great group of like-minded people. And so it's called the Owner Forum. Folks, I love the Owner Forum. It is these, Eric, you're shaking your head. Good group? Very good group. I got incredibly qualified people in my program. I love them to death. I mean, one of them just lost his 13-year-old daughter, died in her sleep. And, 3 of us drove down to his funeral in Philadelphia. Oh, no, it was in Poughkeepsie. I don't even know where I was, but we went there. That's just the way it works. And so, give you an example. Here's Owner Forum members, John Fisher and Mike Gilbert, when they found out where I lived. They showed up at my house, went out for dinner, and we had cigars. My wife kicked us out in the back, and we had cigars out in the back. Here's Owner Forum Dave Barker. Dave Barker did this deal. He came into my program. He checked out everybody else's course. He said, okay, I'll start working with you. He gets a deal in a contract like within 3 weeks. I hated that deal. Hated it. Said, don't do this deal. No, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. No, I'm telling you right now, don't do this deal. 3 weeks later, after wasting our time, he kills the deal. He says, no, there was something wrong with the due diligence. He said, I'm not going to do it. About 2 months later, he gets this property under contract. I loved this deal. This deal was perfect. He now owns this property, about 55-unit property. He did a 1-year anniversary call where all of us, on Monday nights, we all talk, and he did a one-year anniversary. You can go listen to it. You sign up, everything is recorded in my program. And he did a one-year anniversary to show how he ran it for the first year, what went right, what went wrong. Bob Bryanton is a cash investor in his deal and said it's one of the best investments he's ever made. So this is the type of people that we have in the group. Now, Dave Barker, this is one of the most valuable aspects of the Owners Forum for me is the direct access to me. Being able to bounce ideas off you in real time is worth the cost of the Owners Forum alone. Second to that, the regular calls with my peers are also useful. It reminds me very much of the project groups we did in business school. It's nice to hear some of the progress that other folks are making and hearing that they are running into the same challenges that I'm, certainly comforts me and that I know I'm not alone out there. I also feel like I need to be accountable to them as well. If I haven't made my offers that week, I feel like I've let the group down. So he's working on his next deal right now that he's hopefully going to close soon. So this is what the Owners Forum is all about. And the thing is that I asked my group at the end of last year, what can I do to make this program better? And they said, you need an accountability component. Well, I'm not the accountability coach. Bob Damagello, who you saw in the Equity Assist, I hired him. He runs 2 calls a month to keep my students on track for their goals, all right? But what we also implemented was an action plan where you meet with me every 3 months, one-on-one, video call, recorded, sent back to you, where I find out what you need to do to hit your goals, and every 3 months, we get back on the call to make sure you're doing everything the right way. And that's part of this action plan. Originally, it was going to be a 12-month action plan, but then I realized that if I screwed up and I gave you the wrong action plan, we could waste 12 months. We don't have time. We just don't have enough time anymore. We got to get this done as fast as we can. So when you sign up, you get I'm sorry, there it is. There's the action plan. When you sign up, you get a link to book time with me, and we sit there and you fill out a questionnaire. I find out who you are, what you're looking to do, and we figure out what you're going to do for the next 3 months, and just focus on that. That's all I want you to focus on.
Question.
Yeah.
I gotta go, but,
Here, let me give you this. Why don't we hand these out?
okay.
Here, hand it back that way. Some here. Go ahead. What was your question?
I heard you on the radio in Florida, when I was in Phoenix,
Yeah.
and, that's why I know who you are.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Okay.
Some good shows.
Oh, really? Which ones? What was I on?
You're just talking your thing, multifamily.
Oh, wait until you see my podcast.
Yeah.
It is a riot. I love my
Very
podcast.
entertaining.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So, yeah, there was one time I always get afraid of that. Deb, my assistant, and I were sitting in a bar in Florida at one of the events, and a guy came up to me and says, I know who you are. I'm like, oh, geez. I said, no, you don't know who I am. Yeah, you're Charles Dobens. I'm like, okay. He says, I'm in your program. I'm like, oh, my gosh, this is so wild. It's so cool. Yeah. So, well, thanks for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm glad. And watch for the podcast, because that's going to be I really enjoy the podcast. So what we also have is, and I'm going to come in 5 minutes, Monday Night Live call. Every Monday, we do a live phone call, 7 to 8 p.m. This is what it looks like. There I am. That's a gentleman whose daughter just passed away. There's Uncle Bob. These are all students of mine all over the country. There's Deirdre. Okay. Oh, there's Doug Benson. He's buying he's buying a 55 unit right now. He'll own 138 units when this is done, and he owns them all himself, no partners. He borrows the down payment from friends, and then drives the NOI, refinances it, pays them off, and he owns it 100%. And that's how he's done his business. There's Mike Butler. You heard about him. So this is the thing. And this is the pages and pages of this. Every call I've ever done is recorded and in the archives. You can start watching them tonight. Okay, that's how it works. Everything gets recorded. Also, this WhatsApp. It's such a blast. WhatsApp is how all of us stay connected. When you sign up, you get into the WhatsApp group. You get instantly a member of the owner forum, and everybody says hello to you. They talk to you. Any questions you have, you put in that WhatsApp group. Sometimes it gets crazy, like when the Red Sox were playing Philadelphia. And it's the best group of people. I mean, here's a couple of them down here. This guy's Raj. He's in the group, and he just became a partner. Eric, were you in that call? You there? No. Okay. He just became a partner with 2 other members. These 2 other members were looking for a partner who could bring some cash to the table. Raj has got some pretty wealthy friends. So he went out there and raised $1 million to close the deal for this group. And this is what Raj says, hey, that was easy. I could do this all day long. So you got a deal, you tap Raj. If you're in the owner forum, he's your buddy. And here is over here that, so what Raj does is he runs, every month he does a meetup group to raise investors to invest in his group, invest in our deals. I have nothing to do with this. This is all Raj doing it on his own. And she, after the Dobens event, this has to be the second best show in Boston. All right, but this is all on WhatsApp, and this is what we do. We all remain together and keep talking. Dr. Chi, hello Charlie, my 24 unit I submitted 2 days ago. They countered. What do I do now? How do I respond? What should I say to the seller? How many people feel like you could write this email? I said, Dr. Chi, don't worry about a thing. I got you covered. Let's talk tomorrow. Dr. Chi, great. That's music to my ears. Thanks, Attorney Charlie. That's what I'm here for. This is how my students just communicate. My cell phone's right there. I got students I got to talk to. Listen, I love what I do. I can run my business from a pub in Ireland, as I always say. And I'm always in touch with my students. You get full access to me. Now, let me explain about the money here. Congratulations. After spending the whole entire day, I love saying this. I can positively state that none of you qualified for my $30,000 coaching program. Congratulations. Yes, Eric's shaking his head. Because I don't have a $30,000 coaching program. I think that's a scam. Because the Mass Bar Association says a lawyer shall not enter an agreement for, charge, or collect an illegal or clearly excessive fee. I think that's an excessive fee. You're building a business. You should take a guy like me and pay them a consulting fee like you would your lawyer, your accountant, anyone else. Mine is a monthly fee. That's it. No contracts. No long-term contracts. You know why? Because I'm a lawyer. I'm not going to sue you. You jump in. If I'm not giving you value, we shake hands and we part friends. That's how I work. Typically, that 12-month action plan is $2,000. It's typically $697. But I think you see there's a code on the application form. And here's how it works. If you want to fill out the form and hand it to me on the way out, I'll get you in online and you'll get an email with your username and password. Or as you can see on there, I've got a web address. I think that offer is good for a certain period of time. Take the application home. All of those, I've got all the highlights of what the program is in that thing. Fill out the form. And as soon as you sign up, you'll get an email from me thanking you and looking forward to working with you. And that is how I work, guys. That's it. Dan?
I have one question on your property management. You said you have your own property management company.
Yeah.
Do you do that in multiple states or try and keep it in a smaller geographical area?
Yeah, most of them are in multiple states, but the thing is I purchased properties large enough that I could put staff on the properties. So I had at least 2 people working on the properties at a time. All right? And the thing is, we were very slow to hire and quick to fire. My wife was fantastic at hiring good people. All right? The whole property accountant, my payroll, all done in my office in Massachusetts for all of my properties all over the country. That's how I did it. Yep. So, and I say, listen, when you first get started, you can't do that. But you will soon. Once you realize that you're paying somebody to do something that you're going to do anyway, why pay them? So, does anybody have any questions? Allie.
In that situation, if your first deal is not with property management you're doing, but if you're in a state, say like California, where it's expensive and you're not multifamily here, how would you?
Okay, I don't understand the question.
So you were saying on your first deal you wouldn't hire property
Oh,
management?
and on my first deal, probably because first off, because you probably wouldn't, it wouldn't be big enough for you to do it on your own. Look at it, they come in late and they leave early, huh? Look at that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thanks for coming. So in the first property that you do, you probably should have a third-party property manager because you haven't learned the ropes yet, okay? It's not rocket science, okay? You'll figure it out pretty quickly on how to do it and how to do it right. Remember, you're watching your dollars, you're watching your pennies, because you save $1, you just made 10. So you're always watching your budget, make sure you manage to your budget, and then once you understand that, hey, they're just selling leases for me, I can sell a lease, you'll learn how to do it. You hire people to do it the right way, and that's the key, is you hire the right people.
Okay, so first it's third party, and then it's sort of under your.
As you start to grow, you're gonna get to a certain point where you're like, I can do this on my own. Like, why am I sending $100,000 a year to some third-party property manager to run my properties? Why don't I keep that money? That's how you do it. Yeah. That's how, and listen, every multifamily owner that I know is also an operator. You eventually get to the point where you just do it yourself. Every single one. Doug Benson, he owns his own, he and his wife do it right from their house. And if you get online, you'll hear last week's phone call where I asked Doug Benson, we did a panel discussion, and Doug Benson said that, I said, Doug, how do you handle the phones for your property? And he pulls out his cell phone and holds it up. I said, so like all 88 units? He goes, they call me and I answer. But he has done it the right way, and you'll hear about how he did. He has built a beautiful business for himself that, his kids are gonna inherit millions because of Doug, the way he and his wife have set it up. Nicest people. That's the thing about this business, is the people in this business are the nicest people. When I was in the insurance business, what a cutthroat, backstabbing, conniving business to be in. Multifamily, they're just the nicest people in the world. You'll meet 150 of them as soon as you sign up. We all want everyone to do well. I've never been in a business like this before. It's fantastic. Yep. Anyone else? Well, thanks for coming, everybody. I really appreciate it. So,
Thank you, Charles.
My pleasure.
I'll tell you, a lot of good information, feel really good about what you have to say, what you're doing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks.
So you guys know how to get a hold of him.
Yep, you've got the forms. Listen, I'm not, as you can see, that's one of the reasons why I'm not in the insurance business anymore. I'm one of the worst salesmen in the world. You got the forms, you got the discount, fill it out, no pressure. I'd love to have you in my program. You'll love it.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
So, let's see, we will be back here, this is April, May, we'll be back in June, the end of June. So every other month, we're back here, okay? Get in contact with me if you need any help, get in contact with Charles, and let's make something happen.
Yeah. Yeah, so this time next month, you shall have your first property, right? Yeah.